Hello, good morning everyone. How are you all? Back from a Sunday, right? Hope you all had a happy Independence Day yesterday. Did you watch the Independence Day celebrations on TV? Okay, even if you've not, it's good to see things like that. It increases our patriotism, our love for the country. And we also know how Independence Day is celebrated in the capital, Delhi. Anyway, coming back to this session, hope all of you've got your books and pens ready. So today, we're going to continue where we left off in the last class on prepositions. Okay, as you all know, I'm K. Shailja Rao, soft skill trainer, Aditya Global Business School, Surampalam. And are we all ready now? Yeah. So do we remember what a preposition is? Yeah. A preposition is a word or a group of words that come before a noun or pronoun or a noun phrase to show what? To show the direction, time, place, spatial relationship. This is what a preposition tells you. That is the purpose of a preposition. It shows the preposition. So it shows the position of that noun in the sentence. So remember that. Preposition is a word that tells you the position of the noun in the sentence. The meaning, where it is, the time, the place, the spatial relation, the direction, all these things. A preposition actually tells you so many things. It may be a little word, but it has a lot of information to give you. So today, let's continue with, we did time, direction and place. So today, we'll go to the next topic is spatial concepts. Spatial concepts means space. So whenever we say, where is the pen? It is in my hand, right? So where is the pen? It could be inside, outside. Where are the children playing? Are they playing inside, outside, in the playground? Okay, so it could be, or in the swimming pool. It could be, so these prepositions, they tell you relation to space. These are all prepositions which give you an idea on where something is happening. It could be up, down, between, below, above, far, together, apart, big, small, under, over. All these things are prepositions of space, or they tell you spatial relationships. That is, when we say, how did you cross the bridge? I went across the bridge. I drove across the bridge. Or the dog ran across the road. So it gives you an idea of what actually happened. You know a road, right? If you say a dog ran across the road, you know exactly that the dog. So suppose this is, okay, this is the road, and then you have a dog here. I don't know, I'm not very good at drawing, but so if you say dog ran across the road, how did it run? Did it run like this? No, it ran in this direction. Okay, and it is here now. So the dog ran across the road. So it tells you, even without this drawing, I'm just showing you how this word across can give you a lot of meaning in the sentence. The dog ran across the road. So that's So beside, we already saw beside the other day, the difference between beside and besides, between, from, in front of, inside, near, of, out of, through, towards, under, within. Okay, nowadays we are all sitting within the four walls of our house, right? We are not going out. So within means enclosed space. Okay, inside also means an enclosed space. So let's look at some examples of these words, these prepositions. The post office is across the street from the grocery store. That means the grocery store is on one side of the street and the post office is on the other side of the street. So it's across the street. These are the words you must remember when you're giving directions to people. Okay, go right, and then you go, and on the other side you will see this, you know, on the other side. These are all very confusing words. So if you say right across the street, you will find the post office. It's very easy to give information or communicate the directions easily. So these are the words you can use across. We will stop at many attractions along the way. Okay, the road along the beach to Pada is beautiful. Okay, what does it mean? The beach is there and the road is going right along that. So anything that is going together we call along. The kids are hiding behind the tree. His shirt is off. That give you a lot of meaning, right? His shirt is off. That means he's taken off his shirt. Walk towards the garage and then turn left. Towards. Okay, and then place a check mark within the box. Not on the box, but within the box, within the confines of a box. Generally, this is what they tell you whenever you are writing an exam where you have this, they give you a box and say, place a tick mark or a check mark. It could either be this or this, whatever, you have to place it within the box. So remember, these are things that actually tell you a lot, and they actually tell you where to exactly place that check box. Even after reading that, you will ask, Madam, where do I place the tick? So these words give a lot of information on what you have to do or where something is happening. So across, see, the duck is walking, or I don't know if it's a duck, it's walking across these two poles, within the box and along the boxes. And I should rewrite the introduction of my essay. Sam left his jacket in the car. Did you send that letter to your mother? It also is telling whether to someone. We are cooking for 10 guests tonight. Dan ate lunch with his boss. These are all prepositions, and prepositions following adverbs and adjectives. Generally, prepositions come before a noun or a pronoun, right? I am going I'll go to school tomorrow. To school. And school is a noun. That's something that comes before a noun. To is a preposition. The pen is inside the drawer. Or the book is in my hand. The watch is on my wrist. So on, in, they're all coming before the noun. Then we have some prepositions which follow verbs and adjectives, because there are some particular prepositions which follow those verbs and adjectives, and they take only those prepositions. Those verbs and adjectives do not take any other prepositions but these one or two prepositions, and you must remember that. Okay, and always remember that home. I am going to my home. I am going home. I am going to home and I am going home. Which one is correct? Tell me. So now I have to come back with the trump answer saying which half of you is right. The word home is an idea. Okay, so this home does not take a preposition. It is only I am going home. No to home. Will you come to my home? No. Will you come home? And you don't even say my home. When you say home, you will call only your house as home. Right? You will not call somebody else's home. Will you come home? It means will you come to my house, to my home. So you don't even need to add my. So going home, I am going home, will you come home? These do not need any prepositions. Remember that. Home will not take a preposition. Okay? So now, there are some verbs and adjectives which are followed by some prepositions. Because giving the phrase, the meaning of that word changes a little bit. Let's see with examples. See, some common verbs plus preposition combinations. He worries about the future. How do we use about? Okay, he worries about the future. She complained about the homework. I read about the flooding in the city. So about can be, it worries, complained, read. About can be, I roamed about the city. Okay, so it means all over the city. When I worried about the future. So about you can use like this with these verbs. So how do you, these are some more examples of how about is used along with a verb. Think about. What do you think about the idea? Worry about. Don't worry about me. Ask about. He asked about her family. Dream about. I am dreaming about becoming an IAS officer. Concern about. There seems to be a lot of concern about COVID, spreading of COVID. Know about. I don't know anything about this place. Care about. Our parents care about us. Argue about. The boys argued about which bus to take. So about can be used along with these verbs. Remember that. And then at. He arrived at. The children smiled at her. She looked at him. Okay. So how is at used along with, at is used along with adjectives. Okay. Smiled at, skilled at, angry at, annoyed at, delighted at, clever at, brilliant at. At is a preposition which is used with adjectives. Remember that. About is used with verbs. At can be used along with some adjectives. I'm good at drawing. Not I'm good in drawing. I'm good at drawing. Remember that. So adjectives most adjectives taken at. He is brilliant at maths. Or she is angry at her mother. Or she is upset at her father. From. How do we use? What from take? The results differ from my original idea. She suffers from dementia. So from is verb plus preposition. Here again verb and from. So suffers from, escape from. The prisoner escaped from jail. Can I borrow a hammer from you? Deter from. Please deter your children from walking across. Deter is to discourage, to stop. Deter means to stop or to discourage your children. Please distract him from the television. Distract, you know what distract is. Come from. I come from France. Differ from. People differ from one another. I differ from him on this topic. Distinguish from. It was hard to distinguish one twin from the other. It is very difficult to distinguish between salt and sugar if both are powdered, right? So distinguish from. So these verbs take the preposition from. For. Be sure to account for. allow for, searching for. Let's look at what this preposition for is taken by thank for, work for, apologize for, ask for, blame for. I blame Janet for the broken cup. I blame him for my failure. Or care for, he doesn't care. Our parents care for us, care about us. See, care is a word which takes about or for. There are some verbs which take both, two prepositions, about. Our parents care about us, our parents care for us. Both are right. Keep for, would you keep my dog for me? Prepare for, I'm preparing for exams. Okay? He works for an engineering company. You work for someone. He works for an engineering company. I must write and thank Mary for, I must thank Mary for the present or for coming. So you thank someone for. So in, how do we use in? Absorb in, trust in, engrossed in, believe in, succeed in. These words succeed do not take other prepositions, they take in. Succeed in, I believe in God. Okay, I believe, he was engrossed in conversation. Or absorbed, she seemed totally absorbed in her book. I was absorbed in my daily routine that I did not notice your message. Or I trust in God, or I trust in my family, or I trust in my ability to work hard. Anything. Trust is always followed by in. Also trust with. Of. Oh. Agree on. You always agree on. Verb plus working on, rely on, comment on, blame on. On, these words also, these verbs are followed by on. Agree, we agreed on that project. We agreed on that deal. Okay, so you don't say we agreed with that deal or agreed in that deal, agreed of that deal. It is agreed on the deal. And comment on, you always comment on something. And then you rely on something. I relied on my friends to help me through the difficult period. Work on, I'm working on my computer, I'm working on an article, I'm working on a book, whatever, I'm working on. Working on means I'm doing something. I'm working on a computer is practical, but I'm working on a book means I'm trying to write a book. So with this, we'll have a short video before we continue. Let's see our first video. It will actually give you a greater idea about spatial relationships of prepositions. Okay, prepositions, till now what you saw was prepositions of place, and it was easy to understand. So now let's get back to what we were doing. These are also prepositions of place or space, but they come after a verb or an adjective, and slightly the meaning changes slightly when a preposition follows a verb or an adjective. When we say, look at the verb travel, travel to, you travel to some place. Travel is always followed by to, remember that. And respond to, you respond to something, you don't respond in, okay, or for, you pray to something, to someone, to God. Invite to, or invite for is all, it's sometimes I have been invited for something. So invite, it takes for or to. Introduce to, happen to, devote to, contribute to. So these verbs always take in the preposition to. There are some sentences also, when are you going to respond to my letter? I travel to my work by train. Please contribute to the fund for the needy. I'm going to devote myself to playing the piano after I retire. Something often happened to your car. Okay, what happened to you? I didn't see you. Allow me to introduce myself to you. And have you been invited to their party? Did you invite him to the party? So to is followed by these, the preposition to follows these verbs. And then with, how does with follow some of the verbs? Agree with, compare with, agree to. Agree takes in to and also agree to whatever you said. Okay, agree also takes with. Agree with and agree to. Associate with, talk with. Talk also takes to and with. I talked to my friend on the phone. I talked with the principal. Confuse with, discuss with. Okay, discuss only takes with. And clutter with, don't clutter the room with rubbish, or don't clutter the table with papers. You don't say clutter in, on, so clutter with. And compare with, the Himalayas don't compare with any other mountains. Don't compare him with that boy. So compare with, so these words compare, talk, associate, confuse, discuss, take with. Some verbs take another preposition also. So only some verbs take in a different preposition also. Must remember what those two, agree takes in agree to and agree with. Okay, talk takes in talk to and talk with. So associate takes only with. Similarly, confuse takes only with. So now we have a list, a combination. So this will actually help you remember. Quickly you can note down these words, and those verbs or adjectives are only followed by those prepositions. No other preposition will fit the bill. In the sense that if this word comes, accustomed, accustomed is always followed by to. I am accustomed to this climate, to this weather. She is accustomed to the culture of that place. So accustomed to and accustomed with. So it takes only these two prepositions. There are some verbs and adjectives which take only one preposition. So if you note them down, what will happen is, and if you keep looking at it, whenever you use that word or that verb or that adjective, you will know that you can use only one or two prepositions with it. You will not make a mistake. So note down these words, and wherever the tick is, I'll just show you. Wherever the tick is, see, accustomed to, accustomed only takes to, it doesn't even take with. Okay, accustomed to. So wherever the cross is, it means it takes that preposition. So you just write accustomed and then write to. Okay, write aware Of, where only takes this preposition, of. It doesn't take any of the other prepositions. Beneficial to, capable of, characteristic of. This is a characteristic of that breed. Okay. Composed, again composed takes two prepositions. Composed by, this was composed by that poet. This song was composed by Bappi Lahiri. And composed of, okay, it is composed of Urdu words. This song is composed of Urdu words. So composed by and composed of. Different takes only from. Disappointed takes in and disappointed takes with. I am disappointed in you or I am disappointed with you. Almost the same meaning. Employed at, I am employed at Aditya or employed at Infosys, and employed by also the employer's name, employed by someone. I am employed by a software company, so employed by. So these words, so all right, only the ones that follow it, so that you don't get confused. So remember, these adjectives take in only those prepositions, they don't take any other preposition. So trust me, you can always say trust me also, you can always say trust him or trust me, or you should have trust in me, both are correct. Rely on and rely upon are almost the same. On and upon have very little difference, both are correct. You can say we must rely on the weather report or we must rely upon, but rely upon is not used so often. Rely on is more used more while speaking, so both are right. Employed at or employed by, both are correct. Okay. Next, essential to, familiar with, good at or good for. He is good at drawing. I already told you, used it once, good at drawing. I am good at maths. He is good at maths. He is good for nothing. You know, some parents say they are good for nothing or good for something. So good for or good at, not he is good in. Remember, we always say he is good in maths, which is wrong. It is he is good at maths. Grateful for or grateful to. I am grateful for whatever I have. I am grateful to God for whatever I have. To God for whatever. Both you can use. Grateful can take to and for. Interested in. Happy about, happy for, happy with. Happy about is I am happy about these classes. I am happy for you means you are happy because somebody is, you've got a first rank. I am happy for you. Because you got the first rank, I am happy for you. And I am happy with something. I am happy with my new dress. Okay, I am happy with my new sari. So happy with, happy for and happy about. Opposed to. You are opposed to something, not with something or for something. Okay, opposed to something. Proud of. Proud is always followed by of. Responsible for. Similar to. You're sorry about and sorry for. I'm sorry about your loss. I'm sorry about your accident. I'm sorry for something that I did to you. I'm sorry for not speaking to you for so long. I'm sorry about your accident. I'm sorry about that you didn't get that job. So, sorry about or sorry for. Have you finished writing? Yeah. Before we go to the next one, we'll see another small video. Let give you a break, try to understand. When you watch these videos, try to understand, because they are actually a repetition of whatever I am telling you. Some of them may have 1 or 2 extra points. So that's why I have put them there. So watch, enjoy and learn.
At the front. In a queue. On the right. At the side. In a row. On an elephant. At reception. In a garden. On a farm. At, in, and on. At the top. In the sky. On the ceiling. At someone's house. In bed. On the roof. At the
10
hairdresser's.
kellan 10 10 కి వచ్చిందా?
In a room. On the second floor. At the doctor's.
కొంచెం ముందుకు వెళ్ళండి.
In Times Square.
ఇంకొంచెం ముందుకి.
In the town. At the front desk. A book. In the earth. North or in the south. On an island. On my lunch break. At lunch. In the past. On that day. At that time. In a moment.
friend. Either.
at the moment.
Okay, so we actually revised about prepositions of time and place. Let's get back to our PowerPoint, and this is the one we did. Proud of, responsible for, similar to, and sorry about or sorry for something. Then ending a sentence with a preposition. Is it correct or not correct? Sometimes you do end a sentence with a preposition. Let's look at some examples to understand this better. So it is not wrong to end a sentence with a preposition. There is no one else behind, or no one else. If I want to say there's no one else behind, I'm the last one. There's no one else behind whom to hide, or both are correct, but even if you say there's no one else behind, if you end it with behind, even then the sentence is correct. Where did you come from, or from where did you come? So both, where did you come from, we actually use that a lot while speaking. You may not write, when you write, you may not write it like that, but most of the time spoken English we end in prepositions. Where did you come from? More like a conversational sentence. From where did you come is also grammatically correct, and it is used more in writing. So where did you come from is also correct. From and behind are prepositions, and you can use them. Where is your brother at? Wrong. Where is your brother? Correct. Sometimes unnecessary prepositions are used, like home. Come to home. So come home is enough. You don't say come to home. Okay, unnecessary prepositions are used. Where is your brother gives enough meaning. You don't need to add at the end of that question to find out where is your brother. So where is your brother at is wrong. Where is your brother is correct. So even if it is unnecessary, leave it out, because even without that you get the complete meaning of that sentence. Some prepositions which are not needed at the end of the sentences, just so that you people understand. Where did you go to school? You don't need to write at the end of that sentence to say where did you go to school. Similarly, the fat yellow bird was inside of the cage. Inside of, two prepositions you don't need to use. Inside the cage is enough. And Captain Katrina did not know where her dog went to. You don't need to write to there, because went conveys enough meaning in that question or in that sentence. She jumped off the balance beam. Incorrect. She jumped off the balance beam is enough. Okay, off here is that she came off that balance beam. Okay, now let's have a quiz. All of you ready? Tell me the answers quickly. You can see the questions. He lives. What is the answer to the first one? So you don't have to say my. Even come to home is not needed. As I told you, come to home is not needed. Come home is enough. If you're inviting someone, please come to my home. No need. Please come home. That's enough. So what is the answer? First one, he lives dash New York. Yes. He lives in New York. If you don't know, New York is a state. It is a place. It is a huge place. So it's a state in America. So he lives in New York. It's like he lives in Kakinada. You don't say into Kakinada or at Kakinada. You can say at when you tell he lives at some street, at Venkat Nagar Street in Kakinada. So in is the right answer. In is the right answer. And then she arrived dash London for the celebrations. Now, do you know what London is? London is also a capital. It is a state, or it is a city in United Kingdom. So what goes here in the blank? She arrived dash London for the celebrations. Arrived here also arrived in is correct. I'll tell you why arrived at is not correct. Arrived at, if you say arrived at the airport, you're telling a perfect location. If you're telling a location, you can say at. She arrived at the airport in London. Then it would be right. But not she arrived at London. If you're giving another location before London, then you can say she arrived at the concert hall in London. Then it is right. But here in London, London is a city, and so when you say about a city, whenever you're talking about a whole big place, in is more appropriate. If you put at, you have to give some point. She arrived at the airport or at the concert hall or something like that. Okay, then you can say at the concert hall in London. Okay, here again in is the correct answer. Okay. Next, I arrived dash work early this morning. I arrived dash work. When I say work here, I mean the place where I work. So what should come there? I'm giving you a perfect location. So what should come there? So at is correct because when we say work, it is a location I'm talking about. I've arrived at this location. So at is correct. Okay. She, here I already gave you this answer. So she came. What is the right answer? Nothing is the answer here. She came in home, at home, to home is wrong. To is wrong. She came home early. You don't need a preposition here. I told you before home, no preposition. She came home early. That's enough. Then we stayed. Now, this is a name of a hotel. So what does it mean? Is it giving you a location or it's just telling you general place? It's not, it could be GRT here in Kakinada. So what would you put before that? Which preposition goes? We stayed at the Grand Hotel because that is a specific location. We stayed at the Grand Hotel. Next, she went, again easy one for you. Does this take a preposition? Does the home take a preposition? No, it doesn't need a preposition. She went home. He went his friend's house. To his friend's house. I'm going to stay dash home this weekend. Here it is giving you a location. It's important that it's giving you a location. So if you say at home is also correct. Even if you say nothing is also correct. I'm going to stay home this weekend is correct. Grammatically it's also correct. I'm going to stay at home this weekend. Here we are not talking about home, we are talking about the location. I'm going to stay at home this weekend is also correct. I'm going to stay home this weekend is also correct. So the secretary was sitting. Where was she sitting? Where was she sitting? On her desk, in her desk, at her desk, under her desk. Desk is a specific location, right? Whenever you have a specific location, it takes the preposition at. She was sitting at her desk. Shakespeare was a writer who came in England, from England, on England, opposite England, very easy. From a place, from England. In a thunderstorm, you should never stand dash a tree. Between a tree, on a tree, to a tree, under a tree. So you know that during a thunderstorm, you should never stand under a tree, you might get electrocuted. So it is under a tree. So these were some simple, so please prepare, please revise these prepositions and see you all in the next class. Bye for now.